We're going to do our nutrition class today and get everybody in good shape. So, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. Okay? Today we're talking about our healthy eating plan. So, I'm Dr. Matt DeDuro, and we have a nice little group in here today. So, benefits of eating a healthy diet. Number one reason why we want to do this is to decrease inflammation. Inflammation is really the silent killer. We'll go into that a little bit more detail in just a minute. We'll also decrease decrease dependency on medication, blood pressure, diabetes, and cholesterol. Also create an overall healing environment in your body. Okay? 80-20 rule. We don't expect you to do this 100% of the time, every day, but if you're getting 80% of the right foods in your diet, you're going to see some amazing results. Okay? What this diet is about is removing grains and sugars. Functions of this diet is to decrease inflammation. Inflammation is a marker on your lab work called C-reactive protein, and it's something that we like to look at. It should be 1 or lower, and most of our patients we're seeing higher levels when they start. So decrease inflammation reduces pain, joint stiffness, helps with circulation, and increases healing in the body. Also, we'll look at detoxification and the way toxins prevent the body from being able to heal itself. Okay? Why are we decreasing grains? Well, grains, breads, pastas, rice, pizzas, those type of things, they will spike blood sugar, which also will raise inflammation in your body. It creates autoimmune issues and also can be part of the leaky gut syndrome. Does everybody know what leaky gut syndrome is? Okay, so this can create an auto-inflammatory type of response. We'll get into why you want to reduce that in your body. Systemic problems. And really back in the late 70s, they started to do a hybridization of wheats. Okay? And they wanted, I actually remember back in the late 70s, early 80s, they had a scientist who had hibernated the wheat and made it a special, it was going to be such a great, strong wheat that they could grow it in Africa and it was going to reduce starvation. Okay? Because this wheat could be grown anywhere. And what happened was the wheat went from the gliadin, which is the protein in wheat, went up almost 30 times its normal levels. So it became much stronger and our body was not able to absorb it. And it wasn't right away, it was 20-25 years of putting it into our body that we started damaging it. So back in 2004, Time magazine put this on the cover. It said, "The secret killer, the surprising link between inflammation, heart attacks, cancer, Alzheimer's, and other diseases, and what you can do to fight them." So they said, in this article, it was really way ahead of its time, they found that the plaquing within arteries was actually coming from inflammation. So what can cause inflammation? In a drastic type of description, it could be a child that's allergic to peanut butter, okay? Or peanuts. As soon as he eats them, he has this response that actually needs to have like an epinephrine pen. But on low levels, it can create low residual inflammatory responses in your body on a daily basis. And this looks at the arteries. This would be a healthy artery on the top. Nobody wait, will you? And you can see how nice that artery is and how blood is going to be able to flow. And this is a narrowed artery with inflammation. So now you look at, you're going to limit how much blood is going to be able to go through that artery or capillary. And this is a totally occluded artery. And you wouldn't believe how many patients we see in our office that their lower extremities have either only a monophasic flow, which is only one blood vessel that's getting blood, or a biphasic. The best is triphasic, where all three major arteries have good blood flow to your lower extremities. Capillaries, microcirculation. These are the smaller little arteries in the distal extremities of our feet, hands, toes, also in our eyes. That's why a lot of diabetics will go blind, because when your blood sugar spikes, the blood gets thicker. The viscosity changes. So if you're at 150 or 170 on your blood sugar count, the blood is thicker. So it goes like from the viscosity of water to that of motor oil. And you can imagine how much harder your body has to pump motor oil through these smaller little capillaries. So this is what it's all about. Everything we're working at in our program is to improve circulation, improve oxygen-rich blood getting into all your distal organs and extremities. Ease up on carbs. I mean, I'm even Italian, so you know I used to eat spaghetti for breakfast as a kid. But it's not always the best thing for keeping a low glycemic index. Average person does 160 pounds of sugar over a year. Processed foods has a ton of hidden sugar. And diabetes is the #7 cause of death in the United States. And chronic high blood sugar, well, that in turn will be diabetic neuropathy. And what the recent research that we just came across last week was, if you're diabetic, that you have a 100% chance of developing diabetic neuropathy in your lifetime. And it goes up. So in your 50s, it's like a 50% chance. And when you're in your 60s, it's a 60% chance. And every decade, it increases your risk of developing diabetic neuropathy. So sugar also lowers your immune system, causes inflammation within your body, and it's an anti-nutrient, meaning it sucks other nutrients to process it, and increases the risk of heart disease and cancer. A wonderful documentary on Netflix is called Fed Up, and it was actually produced by Katie Couric. And they looked at how strong sugar is and how sugar is hidden in a lot of processed foods. In it, they gave rats in an experiment. For the first 10 days, they gave them heroin, liquid heroin in their water. So the rats would come up and they would drink the water. In the next 10 days, they put liquid cocaine in the water, and they saw how the rats would do. In the last 10 days, they put sugar in the water and saw how the rats processed the sugar. Then, the next month, they put all 3 water containers with the heroin, the cocaine, and the sugar. And guess which ones the rats went to? Sugar. It's more addictive from that research than heroin or cocaine. It changes the morphology of our brain as soon as we taste it. Artificial sweeteners, these are the symptoms that you'll see associated with it. Okay? These are the ones we try to stay away. Splendid, equal, sweet and low, these. We like stevia or liquid stevia. Okay? But you can see a list of things that are associated with artificial sweeteners. Here's the substitutes we like: organic honey in moderation and agave nectar. Fruits. Fruits are excellent, but back in the day, you could only get fruits in the summer, right? End of spring and summer. Now, the way we have industrialized farming, you can get fruits and apples all year round. So back in the day, when you could only get it seasonally, it wasn't too bad on your body. But remember, there are sugars in this, and these are more natural.
Are they healthy sugars? Or are they...
Yeah, they're sugars, but you want them in moderation. So your body's many cries for water. Dehydration is a big thing. You should be drinking. This decreases the amount of oxygen to the entire body. So your body is 75% water, not Coke. You want to be drinking at least your body weight. If you're 150 pounds, you want to be doing 150 ounces of water per day. So I'm constantly having my water jug with me, walking around. Your brain is 76% water. Your blood is 82% water. Vitamin D. This is one of the reasons why we give you this supplement. 95% of the population is deficient in vitamin D. Okay? It's very important in your healing process with diabetic and peripheral neuropathy. Some of it is because we spend so much time indoors and the sunscreens, and you want to be able to get, I try to get 15 minutes of nice sunlight outside every day. Okay? Dairy. Who still drinks milk here? Let me see a show of hands.
I do.
Cow's milk?
Yeah.
Hopefully not after today. So obviously we've been sold a false bill of goods. I mean, this is the marketing campaign that the dairy industry has put on over the last 25, 30 years. Superman, Wolverine.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's the beautiful Sports Illustrated model. And they all have the little milk mustache. Well, let me tell you something. Dairy plus humans equals ear infections, asthma, allergies, tonsillitis, sinus infections, mucus. We see an increase in intestinal inflammation. Think about how many people are lactose intolerant, okay? That just can't process milk. They say 90% of the population cannot tolerate milk. You know what milk is for? It's for a small little cow or calf to grow into a 2,000-pound animal. It is actually a serum or a pus from a cow. And for some reason, how it got into our diet is pretty crazy. So you'll see a lot of parents will have to change. Even Dr. Noah's newborn baby, she could not tolerate any type of dairy. And she was very fussy. So there is no evidence that it decreases the risk of osteoporosis. Okay? And they're saying that's where you get your vitamin D and your phosphorus and your calcium. Well, baloney. It's been again, a false bill of goods. It's very acidic. So, soy milk, we don't recommend soy because of its genetically modified organism, and gives a lot of irritability. So what are healthy alternatives to cow's milk? Well, your first one is almond milk, and you want to make sure you're going with the 30 grams of sugar in each servings. And it's a very good way, if you like to have cereal still a couple days a week, you can use almond milk, but you want to make sure you're getting a gluten-free cereal. And Cheerios has 9 different gluten-free brands now. So flaxseed milk is good, coconut milk, they have some combinations of these. Please look for the lowest sweetener, and I would stay away from even organic milk. So the things we're looking to reduce: sodas, okay? Dairy, that's cheese. Yogurts are okay, especially the Greek ones. There's some Cheerios, but now they're gluten-free. Pastas, pizzas, and obviously fast foods.
That's
right?
why there's an 80-20 rule.
That's right. Cholesterol. This is the one that I wanted to chat with you about, because 60% of our brain is fat and cholesterol. 70% of the lining around our myelin sheath that protects our large fiber nerves, those are fat and cholesterol. The basic building blocks of all your hormones are fat and cholesterol. I mean, so one of the things that we've noticed with statin drugs, 44% of the patients who come through our program, they have been on statins for more than 6 months. And I can't tell you how many people have been on statin drugs or cholesterol-lowering medications for 6, 8, 10 years. I just had a patient yesterday, 20 years they're on it. And when I was lucky enough to be in San Sebastian, Spain last June, I got to speak with some of the top orthopedists, neurologists, endocrinologists in Europe and around the world. And when they heard about what happens with our patients with statin drugs here in America, they're like, you know, we don't have that problem. In Europe, they use statins more as a stopgap drug, which is, you may go on it for 6 or 8 weeks. They have you meet with a nutritionist to make sure your diet is in check. They also have you work with an exercise physiologist so that you're up and walking and getting the exercise that we talked about. And then they take you off it. But what do they do here in the States? They keep you on it for the rest of your life. It's the most profitable drug in the history of pharmaceuticals. So I just say it's time to stop the madness. If you give a healthy person a drug every day for the rest of their life, you don't have to be a toxicologist to realize that they're going to get sick. Okay? So there's the myelin sheath right here, and why it's so important. Again, 70% of that is cholesterol. It also has been linked with early dementia and Alzheimer's, prolonged statin use. Okay? So, eat butter. Scientists used to label it as an enemy, but we're starting to realize there are some, the one that we like is the Kerrygold. It's a grass-fed butter, and it's an Irish type of brand, and we like it. So we still do use some butter, and it will not increase your cholesterol. So eggs, bacon, things like that. I mean, you have to obviously kind of limit your animal products. There's a very big link between eating animal products and damaging the endothelial lining of your arteries. So as close to a plant-based diet that you can get is the best. The Mediterranean diet seems very well because there's a lot of fish. So you can try to limit your red meats to maybe once or twice a month, I'm sorry. Statins. Lipitor is FDA approved to reduce the risk of heart disease and stroke. Common risk factors include family history, high blood pressure, lowers your good cholesterol, and age and smoking. This is the guy, Dr. Jarvis, who created the external heart pump, or the artificial heart valve. And Lipitor lowers bad cholesterol 40 to 60%. But there's also, along with diet, Lipitor is FDA approved to reduce the risk of heart attack. And then it does say an important fact on all these. The atorvastatin calcium is a prescription drug used with diet to lower cholesterol. Lipitor is not for everyone, including those with disease or possible liver problems, women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Lipitor has not been shown to prevent heart disease or heart attack. There's no research that shows it does. That's right on the label. Okay? So, it's nice for short periods. We would not stay on it for the rest of your life. Some other superfoods: chia seeds, coconut oil, flax seeds, goji berries, spirulina, and acai berry and kale. All these. We do shakes. We'll also teach you, there's some great little recipes on how to do some protein shakes as either a breakfast or a lunch supplement, and wonderful things. Which would you prefer? An apple a day or a handful of pills? Right? People are fed by the food industry, which pays no attention to health. And we're treated by the health industry, which pays no attention to food. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. We'll take any questions. And
So I guess ice cream's out of the question.